chasing trends and trying to go viral. It's not really a business strategy.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Promethean Leader. In this episode, we are honored to host Julie, who is a visionary in marketing industry, and she is also the force behind the Tiny Planet Digital. She was named 2022 Woman of the Year BC, and then in 2024, this year, she is also named BC Top 30 Under 30 Business Awards. So we have a really great guest tonight. From her early fascination for human behavior that led her to creating her own marketing agency. And now she dedicates her time empowering student businesses and helping sustainable businesses grow to their full potential. So we are really honored to have her on our show today. Hi, Julie.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
So Julie, let me start with talking about what inspired you to actually start or go down this path.
Yeah, good question. So if we look at, say, 2020 to now as the era of AI, I would say 2010 to 2020 was the age of social media. And that was the time I was going through high school, going through university, and in my experience in that time, I discovered how much social media could change the business landscape. It gave a lot more smaller brands a chance to stand out and build their business and compete with larger brands. And I thought it was a really interesting shift in the landscape and makeup of the market. And I just really wanted to be involved in the action and the change. So that's kind of my initial inspiration in wanting to be in the digital marketing field. But then as I went through school, I found that agency space is probably I would feel the most comfortable in working with different clients, being challenged in different ways. And then in university, I actually worked part-time at another marketing agency where I learned quite a bit. And I also freelanced a lot throughout university in terms of social media, building websites, things like that, which led me to building my business. Yeah.
So what kind of personal values actually align with this kind of going into this kind of business? So that's like, it's a very saturated space as well. And I've seen a lot of marketing and digital marketing agencies. So it's like, what makes you different and how your value aligns with it?
Yeah, good question. So it is a very saturated space per se, but I think the impetus of me starting the company and working on it is I truly felt like I could make a difference and do it better than others. That's, I think, why a lot of business people start their own business. I think in the landscape, the gap I saw in the market was that a lot of small, medium-sized businesses were struggling to manage the dynamic landscape of digital. So say a business, you have one marketing manager, one marketing coordinator. And how are this one or two person team supposed to manage all the website, their social media, their email marketing list? And besides that, they probably have to manage the company's events like trade shows and employee events and things like that as well. So we want to be that supporting agency, supporting team to the marketing manager or coordinator and the folks in that position to help them advance in their digital marketing skills and grow and figure out what's working, what's not working. But from the values alignment piece, one quote I really like is that your business should really be a Trojan horse for your beliefs, where you kind of inject that to push that purpose forward. Otherwise, the business is really simple. It's just about money coming in, money coming out, right? And with that kind of mentality, how do you retain people? How do you keep people? How do you grow in a systematic way? So I think in terms of the values I bring into the business, it definitely has to do with youth empowerment and entrepreneurship. So being very curious, learning new things, and having an entrepreneurial and curious mindset of continuous improvement. That's something I really foster within my team, but also doing good and doing better for the world. So almost every single member of my team, actually I will say every single member of my team has their own nonprofit or fundraising initiative that they do to raise money for causes they care about. And that's kind of the type of people we love surrounding ourselves with. Yeah.
That's amazing. Like your team is also like working on separate projects and also their personal projects just to basically give growth to their own passion.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the type of belief or values we want to foster within the company, right?
That's great. So let me ask you about your growth. Basically, you started from the university, you were exploring this field and you work with different companies as well to learn from it, I guess. And then from that point, like you basically 2-3 years ago, from that point to actually becoming top 30 under 30 business, BC Business Awards, you like from that point to here, like how did that happen?
Yeah. So it is a journey for sure. I'm sure with any entrepreneurs you talk to, it is definitely an experience and a journey throughout. But when I started, I was more like a freelancer, like a consultant, where I would advise and implement on social media and websites for nonprofits and small businesses. And as I slowly grew, my role within the company kept changing, right? Starting from doing every single thing myself, then starting to work with contractors and freelancers, and then building up my staff and my actual team took a while.
Took a while.
Yeah.
I guess that's one way to say it.
Yeah.
But that's amazing to see the kind of a growth you have achieved. So on topic of growth, actually, I wanted to ask you, because social media is the thing to go for any company at this point, for marketing and for growth, for reaching their audiences. So how, let's say someone is starting their own business and launching that company, right? So what kind of strategy do you think they should be focusing on?
Yeah, good question. So it would depend on the business specifically if I were to answer that question. But I guess as a general rule of thumb, we would be looking at something like a focus. So setting your goals and objectives up front. So knowing like what kind of message are you looking to deliver. So in our case, in our company, we're always trying to differentiate ourselves by demonstrating knowledge and expertise and tips in marketing, as well as the advancement in different technologies. So we're always pushing that kind of material. So if you're a business looking to work on your social media, define those specific objectives that you're trying to hit and the messaging you're trying to communicate, and then be very consistent about it. It takes a lot of effort and resources to manage social media, but creating content and posting consistently really is what will drive the effort and momentum.
I see.
Yeah. And lastly, being aware of what's working and what's not working. Don't just put your head down, create a bunch of content and just post. Make some time to evaluate your analytics, what type of content is working better for you, what is actually driving more engagement, following, or visits to the website.
I see. So let's talk a little bit more about the social media experience, because like there are so many social media platforms, and I think like it's not like a one size fit all kind of situation. Every business has different needs, and they will reach out to a different platform to their audiences. But in general, like rule of thumb in social media, what kind of let's say if someone is going for the Instagram and they want to reach to their audience through Instagram, so what kind of things they should be looking out for other than consistency in the posting?
Yeah, good question. So I think you should be in the position there to solve a problem. So your content should either identify a problem, educate them about a problem, or explain how your business or company can solve that problem or why they should care. So without having this kind of hook system or problem identification, it is really busy out there and difficult to get people's attention that way. And what we've seen a lot of success on social media, particularly, is with, reactions. So whatever you can do basically to get reactions is really important. Whether you have positive sentiment or negative sentiment, it actually doesn't matter that much on social media. That's just a way to get traction.
Okay. So Julie, so let's talk about social media trends. What kind of trends and social media are you seeing? And can you also talk about a little bit the platforms you are seeing those trends on?
Yeah, most definitely. So I think something we're very, very intrigued by and excited about is AI-powered tools.
Yeah.
So whether that's in writing, content creation, or video creation, it is generating content, not necessarily good content,
Okay.
but really, really quickly. And I think by the end of 2024, you might be watching AI-generated video and content without even noticing it at all. So I think it's a really interesting inflection point or transition point in the digital marketing industry to demonstrate like what is the value of social media and how do we continue to further amplify the message of my business, anyone's business, through these really, really powerful tools. So I guess the trend is, more and more user-generated content that seem very natural, but that could be used through a real human or actually AI-assisted in its production.
Okay, now you have brought up a really interesting topic of AI, and we have definitely seen that take up, like, you go on Instagram, you're going through the reels, and then you pick one or two reels comes in and it talks about like our AI platform is able to generate this many content, and it's all natural, and all those kind of advertising of many different AI platforms, right? So that is actually transforming landscape in my opinion, for sure. But like, do you think people are able to distinguish between, oh, this is AI generated, I do not like that, I want like more of a personal and human touch to it, or people are not able to distinguish anymore?
Yeah, so I think right now a little bit, just because my understanding is that ChatGPT is mostly trained on Wikipedia because it was an easy way of getting it to read a lot of human generated content. But there is selection bias about how Wikipedia is written and the wording that's used. So if you see any heading that says unleashed or harness the power of or something like that, it's likely going to be AI generated. ChatGPT loves using those words. But I think as the technology progresses quite exponentially as well, and as it's trained more, soon we won't be able to tell. But something we do tell folks that work with us and in the industry is that it's not about how AI will replace what digital marketers like us do, or, for someone like you creating content. It's not about replacing that. It's about multiplying our expertise and our force, right? So instead of spending a lot of time generating ideas and content, we can use AI as support. But then at the end of the day, you actually get more expert hours to review and finalize the content. So before, for example, in production, we have an idea. We spend time writing about it, researching it, trying to understand it. And then, you have proofreaders, editors, and people looking back on the content and trying to figure out if it's good, if it needs more editing. But now that middle part is so fast, done by AI, the research, the commenting, the spell check, and fact checking, and a lot of things like that. And then actually you get more human expertise to look over the content and make sure that it's aligned with the brand, and it hits your objectives as well. So I do feel like it's not replacing anything, but rather multiplying the power of people's expertise.
Okay, so you are saying that AI is actually complementing the industry rather than replacing it.
Totally.
So that's actually going to make your job much easier and much faster.
More efficient and more effective for sure. And for each client project we take on, they actually get more expert hours because the experts don't have to spend so much time researching, proofreading, and things like that. They can do their last kind of finesse and finalization and spend way more time on doing that. So, yeah.
So do you think that your client's perspective will change? They will be like, oh, why should I pay this much money to a person who will be using AI, which I can use it myself?
Exactly. So that's something we're trying to educate people about. It's not that AI is actually doing the work of our team. You actually get more expert hours with your packages because they get to review it more. Because if you just have an idea, you prompt the AI, and then you don't have any review or editing process and you just grab whatever AI makes and throw it on, you probably know it's sometimes very prone to mistakes, and AI doesn't necessarily have the expertise about your business that we're writing about that they have. So there's still needs to be kind of a human touch and generation at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's need like a lot of proofreading at the end, because if something goes out live and it's not aligned with your brand, you might be under fire then.
Exactly. And I think it's a little bit difficult to, I guess, for me as a non-technical person to grasp the concept, but I've come to realize that AI really is just a mathematical sequence that tries to figure out what humans will say next. Okay. It doesn't actually know what it's talking about. It's just guessing. So sometimes it could be right, sometimes it could be wrong. So it is really important for that human kind of supervision and monitoring to happen. And I really do see our position as digital marketing service providers leaning more towards that in the future.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this landscape actually changes, and a lot of people are getting into this digital marketing game, I would say. Like, I've seen a lot of new content creators, and I've even heard like stories and news articles coming out saying like, oh, remember this influencer, it's an AI.
Yeah.
Like completely AI, nothing real, no human being there, just AI actually influencing people and influencing basically the thoughts of people, I guess. You can say that, like that's what influencers are, right?
Yeah.
They basically influence the thoughts of people. So, like the content, so much content is being produced, and so much people are actually viewing those content. Like for me, like I'm not that, like, even though I've worked in the industry a little bit, not that much, I'm still not an expert in any way. I do not understand it to that extent. So I just want to know, like, so much content has been produced and people are viewing it, like how much is actually absorbed and how much is actually engaged to it.
So I think that is the difficult part about marketing, just because the sheer volume of it, everybody obviously is trying to compete for people's attention. So what can you do as your business to stand out, get in front of people? So that's like a discussion we would have with our clients. There is definitely no formula or one size fits all solution, unfortunately. But it does take also a lot of trial and error to get that, because something that might have worked 3 months ago, 6 months ago, will not work as well today.
Yeah, that's true. Like the trends are changing so fast. Like, and I just feel like I'm way behind on everything. Like, okay, we go in and something is happening, and next thing you know, oh, this is an old trend. Why are you doing that? And I was like, oh, I just don't want to do it anymore, man. Like, it's too difficult to follow everything.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And that's why it's so important to know what your brand stands for, how you're different from other people. And like I said, you just continue being yourself, doing what you do with that positioning and consistency. That's how we see our clients win. I think chasing trends and trying to go viral. It's not really a business strategy, right? You can't count on going viral every single week, but you can continue to educate your customers about the problem, what your business does, things like that.
So basically, like, try to get like loyal customers through marketing, not just like viral videos, which goes viral one time and then you are like out of business next.
Yeah, exactly.
So even like we talked a little bit about the attention. I read somewhere that like people's attention on like reels and everything is like lowered so much that people, like, after a few seconds you lose them. So you need to hit the mark in those first few seconds. And like, I just can't imagine, like, I have not seen many people actually even read full articles anymore. Headlines, that's it. We are good. We know everything. So it's like people are competing on headlines and those AdWord spaces now just to get those, their marketing in.
Yeah, 100%. So it is becoming like the attention market is definitely like a focus people are getting at. So this is why we are really big proponents of full funnel digital marketing, because just because you capture their attention once, it doesn't really mean much. They read one headline, they saw one email title, and then what? So that's why we are really big on communicating with our clients the value and purpose of full funnel marketing. So not only are you reaching new audiences, you are retargeting your website visitor. You are also sending email campaigns to past customers, and then building a community on social media to engagement. And once people follow you on social, you can get more brand awareness by running ads to people similar to them. So it kind of all has to work together instead of having, it's a one horse race. I will just post on Instagram every day until my business becomes successful. That's a very different approach to what we take.
Okay, so just for the audience sake, can you walk us through, if possible, any kind of like a example of your client or any kind of marketing that you did that like you were like, oh my God, that's like actually helped the client a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Happy to go through some of our case studies that we've done for our clients. An example that I would love to share is our lovely Black Rock Oceanfront Resort over on Vancouver Island in Euclid. So in helping them with their marketing, we were able to gain a significant amount of followers and traction on their Instagram. I believe it is over 2,000 followers increased in just over a few months' time in working with them. And also through Google Ads, we were able to generate direct online bookings each month for them, so they don't have to provide as much of a commission to online booking agencies. And another client project we would love to share and we loved working on is the City of Vancouver's election in 2022. It was a really, really exciting project about civic literacy and engagement, where we worked with the city to teach people through social media how to vote, when to vote, where to vote, and all those details in order to make really boring, dry information into more fun tidbits through social media. And we were able to increase voter turnout and generated over 500,000 impressions through our social media content.
Wow, that's amazing. Like turning dry government content into something that people can actually read and enjoy.
Yeah.
I think that alone makes you deserving of Top 30 Under 30 award.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing those examples. It's I really appreciate that, learning from those examples. I do want to know, like, going back to the topic of launching, right? So many phases a business goes through. So let's say we are in the launch funnel, and we talked about it a little bit, using the space, social media space and everything. But now if we are in the midway through the launch, and basically there are some customers that know about you and they are engaging with you, but again you are competing with the space, as we talked about, the competing with the space and competing with the attention. How do you keep that consistent? How do you keep them engaged? Like, that's difficult part, right? Like keeping them engaged once you have gotten the space in front of them and you got their attention, and now how do you keep them engaged with your content throughout?
Yeah, good question. So depending on what sector the business is in, there's a lot of different programs that people can tap into. This could be loyalty programs, point collection programs, referral programs, giveaway contests, some kind of exclusive perks. People could, keep in touch with folks through Instagram subscription channels, broadcast channels, Facebook groups, and other like email marketing channels or other ways. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of work. So
lot of work.
That's why you need a marketing agency to help you out with those kind of work, right?
Yeah, and it depends what business you are. Then we can kind of consult with you to figure out what the best fit for you is.
Okay, so for your business, do you provide like a free first consultation to businesses, or like how do they get in touch with you basically?
Most definitely. So if you're interested in getting in touch with us, learning more about how digital marketing can help your business, you can book a call with myself or my team at tinyplanet.digital.
Okay, so guys, if you want to get a free consultation for your business, do get in touch with Julie. She is the top 30 under 30 for BC for this year, 2024. So you are getting the top service here.
Thank you.
So Julie, before we have talked a lot about it, and I think like I'll be getting in touch with you regarding few other aspects just to understand it, and maybe if someone has any question, you can post any questions regarding digital marketing or any kind of marketing related questions, and we can have Julie again to answer those questions for you. So please do write down your questions in the comments. But Julie, before we actually end this, one thing I would like to basically ask us some kind of influential reading or any book or any author that you think have made a significant impact in your personal or professional life.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I really enjoy the writing of Yuval Noah Harari, who authored *Sapiens* and the 21 lessons for the 21st century. So I think he's just a really, really interesting thinker. In terms of talking about where humans are coming from, where we're going, and what we can do in the present. And another writer I really like is Malcolm Gladwell, also a really unique thinker in all his different books, touching on very, very unique subjects, and talking about very practical stories that help you see blind spots in the human condition, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I think they're interesting books. I'll definitely add them to my reading list as well, and hopefully for 2024 I'll be able to give a read.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know how I like it then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie, for coming. It was lovely meeting you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do this again.
No, it sounds great.